Hello YouTube. Hello YouTube. Today the video is going to be about nuanced thinking, which is first of all very important if you want to balance out your life, I would say. It starts with analyzing your own thinking, and in this analysis it is important to know what nuanced thinking is, which actually just means not diving left and right within thoughts. It means that this is easier to do with examples, but if you are angry, you will have a thought like, oh, I'm gonna do this and do that, and I'm gonna destroy this and that. But that's like all the way to the left or all the way to the right, all the way to the darkness or all the way to the light. Which in this case is darkness, because revenge is darkness in my opinion, and maybe even weakness. Revenge is weakness, because you will stay in the past with your mind, and you will have to start thinking in the present. Which is very hard for me as well, because I'm also in a bit of emotional turmoil. It's like the tower came crashing down, and it's hard. But let's take the example of revenge. It will be, if you want the revenge or you're thinking about it, it will be a thought which is all the way to one side, and the opposite of revenge is love. It's making things good again, or how do you say that? Revenge, opposite. What is the opposite of revenge? Okay, remorse is the opposite of revenge, which just means that you will accept the injustice that is done to you. And in my personal opinion, in such an example, the importance lies within the balance between remorse and revenge. And I think that balance is what we seek to develop a stronger intuition or sixth sense, or whatever you want to name it, third eye for me. At least I call it like that. I see it as a third eye, a eye which is connected to a greater consciousness, which is uniting all consciousness in the world. Where was I going? Opposite of revenge. Yeah, the balance we seek in this nuanced way of thinking is in between remorse and revenge. So you will acknowledge the feeling of revenge towards yourself, but you will also acknowledge the fact that you will be able to have remorse for the injustice that has been done to you. And if we stay in the middle, we don't have to revenge at first, and we get stronger by not really fully showing remorse. So not fully accepting. You will accept it for what it is and for yourself, but you will not accept the injustice itself, because that is, it's also a sort of weakness, you know. It will make you less strong if you will have remorse for something that is not okay. And it will just draw you out of balance. And that's why the importance of nuanced thinking is seeing your thoughts for what they are, and seeing when they lean towards one or the other side. Because everything has opposites and everything is duality, and so is in thinking. And I think the how to start with nuanced thinking is by accepting the balance or the duality of thoughts, which I'm going in the right direction, I think, for now. Normally I made like 10 videos before this, and they were all shitty. I was not focused and not thinking about the subject that I was wanting to talk about. Then I read somewhere a very interesting part about nuanced thinking. Nuanced thinking meaning, and then we go to Quora page. Yes, here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna read some pieces of text which I think are very good to further the example of nuanced thinking, or the concept of nuanced thinking. Okay, the question is, why is nuanced thinking so hard for some people? So many, I was gonna say, but some people. Because they don't think for themselves, so don't learn how to see multiple facets of a situation. So that's the multiple facets is either the left opposite or the right opposite, the dark opposite or the light opposite, the duality in the way of thinking, or the facets of a situation. So if you observe a situation which is happening, you can always say like, oh, this is what is happening, and you will think all the way to the right. Like, for instance, I saw on the bike, I saw a girl drive on the bike and she was crying, and I saw a deep pain inside of her. And I was thinking to myself, like, what could this mean? And I thought abuse by men I thought this has to do something with abuse. But that thought and that moment, that situation that happened there has been in my mind for like 2 years now. And sometimes I just think back on it and think like, okay, it could have been this, it could have been that, but you will just have to accept that you have seen multiple facets of a situation, which could be like she is being abused, but it could also be like, oh, a parent died and she's crying on the way back of the funeral. It could even be that she was forgetting stuff to get she was doing groceries and she forgot her cat food, and she felt very bad about not getting the cat food towards her cat, and that made her cry. Honestly, I could see the facets of this situation, but I could never know which is true. And that the way that I think about that situation and me observing it right now shows that I'm trying to see it I'm trying to think about it in a nuanced way. So it's just important that we keep sort of challenging our own thoughts. And that is what nuanced thinking is. Like, keep the duality in it. Never really trust your thoughts or your mind, but tell your mind that your mind has to look at multiple facets of a situation before the thoughts will balance or something. I would say the soul will balance and the thoughts will be nuanced, but that's for another discussion. They don't tend to engage in conceptual or analytical thinking, full stop, as the modern education system, the media and society in general don't encourage it. Hence it is a race to the bottom, with everyone becoming progressively more stupid. Okay, this person doesn't like the fact that people do not think nuancedly or in a nuanced way. But the part that I pick out from this, because this guy this person is a girl, is also sort of mad at the world that they have trouble thinking in a nuanced way. But the thing that pops out for me is that modern education system, the media and society in general do not encourage it. So that's also something very important to understand, is that here, this civilization stuff, wherever man has created working together, like let's say in a civilization, wherever there is civilization, there will be disencouragement towards thinking nuancedly or in a nuanced way, or thinking in balance or being in balance. And it will try, the societies in the world will always try to take you out of your balance and take you out of your nuanced way. And if you think deeper on this, the whole marketing strategy which is being applied now in societies, is when people do not think, whoa, I spit. But when people do not think in balance, or are not in balance themselves, sorry, Caddy. My cat is doing strange. But if people do not think for themselves, they buy more. So the whole capitalistic marketing strategy is if we I would say indoctrinate people into thinking that they should not think in balance, but just have their thoughts and accept them whatever they are, or maybe not even be conscious about their own thought. They will buy more stuff. And it is true. It is definitely true. If you think it is just a way to keep people out of the middle. And at the same time, the people that push those mindsets upon society and don't encourage nuanced thinking, they are the people that are thinking nuanced, and they are the people that are in balance. They are the people making coin, literally. They will make money out of chaos, and they will stay within order. So that's a good part to think about. Like, don't get yourself dragged out of your intuition and the way of thinking that you're trying to develop a more balanced personality from. My English just sucks, by the way, but it doesn't matter. Now, this guy talks about critical thinking, but I think you will understand that thinking nuanced is the same as critical thinking. Critical can be judging, but nuanced thinking in a way should not judge, because it will see the multiple facets of a situation or whatever. Then on the bottom of this page there was more, which I read. It had this is it. Okay, I will just read it and stop when I think it's necessary. Based upon definition provided, there are few variables to be covered. Whoa, converted. There are few variables to be covered, defined with extreme care. So nuanced thinking is defined with extreme care. So you will have to care extremely intense about the way you think. For me, it is in relationships that I tend to stop thinking nuanced and start going all the way this way or going all the way that way with my mind. And that is something for me to learn, the emotional turmoil. But I will try and define my thoughts with extreme care, because if I don't, I will either see the whole situation as completely bad, or the whole situation as something which was perfect, which it was not. So I will have to think with extreme care, define my thoughts with extreme care. Okay, next one is fine point distinctions. I think that speaks for itself. You will have to make distinctions between things which are very fine, you know. You need to pick out the fine points and make distinctions between those points and to get to a conclusion, because in nuanced thinking we always want to make a conclusion, but we do that with extreme care. Then he says, like, very detailed orientated observations. So thinking nuanced has to do with observing nuanced, or observing detail orientated. Let's just say you have to challenge your own thoughts continuously. If you do that, then you will get there. And they say, like, achieving those observations at a glance. So I think that this like points out the third eye part of it. If you are very good at thinking nuancedly, making very detail orientated observations, then you will quickly see at a glance what the fine points of the distinctions you're trying to make are. You will see things earlier than necessary, or earlier than others, or you will see them at a glance. The observations you make is like, okay, bam, I see this. This is one I keep. This is one I stay with. Then, yeah, it's just, for me, it's sometimes I have like 1 second eye contact with people and it tells me so much about them. I think that is you have to train detailed observations, because it will you will have to train it. It is something you train, and I don't think you can train it, but it will be something which you get drawn towards, like thinking in a detailed, thinking balanced. One of the definitions, keep the thinker engaged, alert. Yeah, okay, so keep the thinker engaged, alert and awake, ever vigilant about all things that they are exposed to at all times, observing all the aspects of real only. So it's nuanced thinking is truth seeking, in my opinion, and you will have to seek the truth if you want to have your mind in balance, and will help you to see things for what they really are, and not get drawn into a lie. Okay. Observing all aspects of real only information. Detail to a degree of being able to describe the detail considered. I don't even know where to start. This does mean that a nuanced thinker not only sees in black and white, very much so, because you will see it either this way or either that way, and you will actually never be able to make up your mind. That's the fun part about it, because you will see it all. You will see all facets. You will see all sides. You will understand left and right, black and white. You will understand. But also can differentiate the shades of colors to observe everything in such details of reality. So that's where the shades of gray come in. Like, you will see everything in black and white. It's either this or that. But in between the spectrum of black and white, there is shades of gray. Literally, like if you look at color spectrum between black and white, if you make a gradient, it will be from white to grayer, and then at the middle point it turns blacker, etc. So this man says, like, if you really want to see correctly, you will have to see everything in black and white, but make the proper the distinctions in the gray areas, or in the gray shades, which is very hard. And then I remember, like, one more thing. This is also nice. A nuance is a slight and delicate difference in character of something that makes subtly different from another similar kind. That makes it subtly different from another single kind. So it's also that the thing is that seeing in a nuanced way, it's not always that your thoughts will never be really in balance, because the 1 minute your thoughts will say this, and you acknowledge the thought coming through, and it's like, okay, this is what the thought says, but I know that I want to think balanced, so I will already put that thought in a compartment somewhere. So if I later find out something else, or make another distinction, observation, I see another detail of a situation, then I can take this, which I put in a shelf, and take the thought that I just made new, and I will compete them to each other. I will, like, clash them into each other. It's like, oh, if this is this and this is that, then probably, because things are in balance in the world, probably the answer will lie within the shades between this thought and this thought, which are oppositing each other. You will think in shades, and if you keep distinguishing your thoughts and competing the thoughts and comparing the thoughts with each other, eventually you'll get to a point of deeper understanding, externally and internally. The whole concept of thinking nuanced is an internal practice, but that internal practice will show its results in external observations as well. So external observations make intuition stronger, make thinking balanced better, but also the internal practice of balancing out thoughts will make the intuitive observations you make in daily life also stronger and more specific and detailed. So if you practice those two things, you will think in a balanced way in a year. Goodbye.